Okay, let's talk about caffeine. For something like 85% of Americans, it's not just a beverage, it's a full-on daily ritual, right? It's what gets our morning started and powers us through the afternoon slump. But here's the thing. That energy boost can take a pretty dark turn if we're not careful. So today, we're going to get into what happens when you have too much of a good thing.
I mean, really think about it. Have you ever been on your second, maybe third cup of coffee and just stopped and thought, what is this actually doing inside my body? We love that it makes us feel sharp and ready to go, but there's a really fine line between feeling energized and feeling, well, something else entirely. Let's pull back the curtain and find out exactly where that line is.
All right, so to really get what's going on, you need to picture your brain like a car. It's got a gas pedal and it's got a brake pedal. And caffeine? It's a master at playing with both of them to get you moving. So as you go about your day, a chemical called adenosine starts building up in your brain. You can think of this as the brake pedal. The more it builds up, the more your brain wants to slow down, get sleepy. But caffeine is like this perfect little imposter. It slides right into the parking spots meant for adenosine, the receptors, and just blocks them. It's like it cuts the brake lines. Suddenly, you just don't feel tired anymore. Okay, so with the brakes completely out of the picture, caffeine then slams on the gas. It triggers a release of adrenaline. Yep, the good old fight-or-flight hormone. That's what gives you that jolt, that feeling of being super alert and ready for anything. It's a powerful 1-2 punch. No brakes, all gas. So what happens when we just keep our foot on that gas pedal? I think we all know this feeling. 1 cup is perfect, 2 is great for productivity, but then there's that 3rd or maybe 4th cup, and that's when things start to go sideways. That's when you cross the line from feeling good to feeling not so good.
You've probably felt the first warning signs. We call it the jitters. You might start to feel kind of anxious or nervous, but for no good reason. Maybe your heart starts beating just a little too fast. For some people, it can mess with your stomach, and it can definitely ruin a good night's sleep. These aren't just little annoyances. They're your body's way of sending up a flare.
And let's be really clear about this. That shaky, jittery sensation is your body literally screaming at you to stop. It's your nervous system saying, hey, that's enough, we're all good on the stimulants for today. Listening to that first signal is so crucial for staying on the right side of that line.
But what if you don't listen? What happens if you just push right past the jitters and keep going? Well, you actually move from just a common feeling into the world of a real, honest-to-goodness clinical diagnosis. We're talking about caffeine intoxication.
No, really, I'm not making this up. Caffeine-induced anxiety disorder is an official diagnosis in the DSM-5. That's the manual that clinicians use to diagnose mental health conditions. The fact that caffeine has its own entry in there tells you just how seriously its effects on our nervous system should be taken.
And the symptoms just get worse from there. After the jitters, your thoughts can get all scattered, you might start talking a mile a minute. Your heart doesn't just beat fast, it can start to feel like it's fluttering or pounding. Those are palpitations. Then comes the dizziness and nausea, and in the worst cases, your body will just try to get rid of it by making you vomit. Every step is a sign that things are getting more toxic.
Now, most of us will never, ever get to this point, but it's really important to understand how serious this can get, because now we're entering the true danger zone. We're talking toxicity and potential overdose.
See that number? 10 grams. That's the estimated lethal dose of caffeine for an adult. Now, to put that into perspective, your average cup of coffee has about 100 milligrams. So we're talking about the equivalent of somewhere between 75 and 100 cups of coffee. It sounds like an insane amount, but it's not impossible to hit, especially if you're dealing with those highly concentrated caffeine powders or supplements. That's where the real danger is.
At these extreme toxic levels, your nervous system is just completely overwhelmed. It can trigger catastrophic events in your 2 most important organs, your brain and your heart. We're talking seizures, where the brain's electrical signals go haywire, and even cardiac arrest, where the heart just stops beating properly.
Okay, now before you go and throw out your coffee maker, let's bring this back down to reality. Your body has a really effective safety net. Long before you could possibly drink a lethal amount of coffee, your body would almost certainly force you to vomit. It's a built-in defense mechanism. That's why a fatal overdose from just drinking beverages is incredibly rare.
So the biggest takeaway here is all about awareness. It's about understanding your personal limit for sure, but it's also about knowing where all that caffeine is coming from. Because trust me, it's not just hiding in your coffee mug.
I mean, check this out. Just one energy drink can pack up to 3 times the caffeine of a regular coffee. A single caffeine pill, that could be double. And did you know it's in a lot of over-the-counter pain relievers and even cold medicine? It all adds up. And it's so easy to consume way more than you realize without even thinking about it.
You know, one of the sources for this explainer put it perfectly, and this quote really sums it all up. Caffeine is a drug. It's actually the most widely used psychoactive drug in the entire world. And just like any drug, you've got to respect it if you want to avoid its dark side.
So we'll just leave you with this one last question to think about. You're probably pretty good at keeping track of the cups of coffee or tea you have each day. But what about the soda you had with lunch, the energy drink in the afternoon, that headache pill you took? Being truly mindful of your total caffeine intake, that's the real key to enjoying all the good parts of caffeine without ever crossing that line.